Rob Tebbutt here for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined. It's been a while, but joined by Eddie Hearn. We're here in Sheffield at the Dalton Smith Samo Mason press conference. Eddie, nice to see you.
Good to see you, mate. ID Boxing, on we go. Very exciting new venture for you, Robert. Best of luck. I'm here for it.
Thanks very much, Edward. Let's get straight into it because you've got a very busy queue of people as always. Let's start from the top, work our way down. Dalton Smith, I know he's been working hard to get that British title shot. He's landed on Samo Mason. Talk to us about the main event on Saturday.
It's a really good fight. I mean, look, it's pretty natural, isn't it? Two kids from Sheffield fighting at Sheffield Arena for the British title. There's a real buzz around Dalton Smith, and his team, STN, have been sort of pressuring me to let him headline in the city. I wasn't sure about that. One, because it's not a fight that would headline traditional DAZN cards. It is part of the Next Gen series, which enables us to do that. But how big is Dalton Smith? He's boxed all around the country. Now you headline him and we'll have 5,000 in there for a Next Gen card. He sold loads of tickets. The city are behind him because I think they believe in him. But I put Dalton Smith with the ability to box and beat or be competitive against Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor, Ramirez. But whoa. He has to blitz this kid and give us a performance where you go, this kid's really good. For me to even start opening my mouth and talking about those kind of levels. But I really believe that's the levels that you can see Dalton Smith operate at.
There's some names that were thrown about before this. Sam Maxwell, Akeem Ennis-Brown. You've landed on Samo Mason. Just talk to us about how you landed on him.
Well, Sam Maxwell was British champion. We were made mandatory with Dalton Smith. Sam Maxwell vacated the title to go and fight for the IBR. I know he went on and lost. There was other fighters that were offered this fight that chose not to take it. Samo Mason stepped up. It makes sense. He spoke to the board and put himself in for that position. That was granted. The winner of this fight has to fight Casey Benjamin. It's another good fight. And obviously this makes sense. Two kids from Sheffield. Samo Mason's a good talent. He has been for a long time. And it's a good test for Dalton Smith. But like I said, if he is what we believe he is, he should win in blistering fashion on Saturday.
Try and skim through the rest of the card. It seems a bit strange to say it so early in her career, but Sandy Ryan really kind of up against it or do or die this weekend.
I feel for Sandy Ryan. It's her fourth fight, right? She had three fights, so it's her fifth fight. Three fights where, she stepped up in a fight that, you could argue maybe shouldn't have taken, and then loses in a close fight and says, I must fight her again straight away. And everyone's like, if she loses, her career's over. This is the pressure that the boxing fans and the public tend to put on fighters rather than saying fair play. But listen, she was a bit gobby in her early head-to-heads, and some people don't like that, so you have to take the rough with the smooth. But if she wins, firstly, give her the credit that for 3 months she's locked herself away. She's in incredible shape. Give her the credit for doing that, taking a rematch. If she wins, give her the real credit and say, wow, what a ballsy decision from Sandy Ryan. This young girl could be the future of the 140-pound division. Tough fight. Farias is really good and really confident, but hopefully Sandy can do it. Jordan Thompson, who I believe he's already with Billum Smith and Riakporhe and those guys, but he's got to go through the levels of a Vasil Ducar. I mean, Ducar's perfect because he's tough as nails. He's always competitive. He had a good fight with Billum Smith. He had a good fight with Riakporhe.
Not box Riakporhe.
Not Riakporhe.
Alexei Egorov, Mike Perez.
Egorov. I said that on the stage, didn't I? Damn. But also, I think that it's a perfect yardstick to see exactly where he's at. And Ducar will improve through those experiences. Jordan is really exciting, but I'm looking forward to seeing how good he is on Saturday.
Johnny Fisher brings the Romford Ball Army up to Sheffield.
Over 1,000 coming for Johnny Fisher, unbelievable. Campbell Hatton back in action. Akeem Thears, Hopi Price has got a tough fight as well. Look out for Junaid Boston, fantastic talent. Nico Levias as well. It's a really good card. I love these Next Gen cards because sometimes it mixes well and everyone sells. We have 5,000 in there for a Next Gen card, which is fantastic. But I'm looking at these kids saying, who's going to start stepping up to the TV card of the big shows? Who's going to start co-main eventing and who's going to start headlining? And the last one on that conveyor belt is Dalton Smith. You win on Saturday, you start looking to headline real big cards in European and world title honours.
Just want to fly into any other business. One name that I want to talk to you about, Maxi Hughes. There's been a lot of talk about him and Kid Galahad. Heard from Steffi Bull that he had an interesting offer last night, though.
Yeah. Ryan Garcia reached out to Maxi Hughes. Just said, do you want to fight in October? I guess if the tank fight doesn't get made, he's going to want to stay active. I spoke to Golden Boy and they're going to speak to Ryan Garcia. Terms have been agreed for Maxi Hughes against Kid Galahad, which is a really good all-Sheffield fight as well. But obviously, if the Ryan Garcia fight popped up, Maxi would definitely take that.
Sticking with kind of the featherweights come lightweights, there's been a lot of talk about Josh Warrington and Bernardo Lopez. What a tough mandatory that'd be.
That's the fight. That's 100% his next fight. I mean, I spoke to Josh a couple of days ago. When we took the Kiko Martinez fight, we knew that he would have to take that fight But also at the same time with the injury, there's no escape really. He has to fight Lopez. It's a really tough fight. It's a good fight. I want to make Leigh Wood against Josh Warrington. You know, we've got this Santa Cruz thing to work out, and Leigh Wood wants to fight Mauricio Lara next. I mean, which is just like, would be epic, wouldn't it?
I don't suppose you get many people requesting that.
No, but fair play to Leigh Wood. So we'll see what happens, but certainly, you know, my priority at the moment, obviously Conor Benn situation to deal with as well, but Leigh Wood, Josh Warrington, Katie Taylor, Joe Caldina, all those World Championship fights are all being scheduled right now.
Just last couple from me. You mentioned there Conor Benn. Where are we with the Eubank Jr? If it's not going to be Eubank Jr, who's it going to be for Conor Benn?
Well, look, that's the fight we want, you know, and Keith Coogan said to me earlier, you know, what's the hold-up? I said, no hold-up. I've never told you it was close. Other people did. I said, so we're negotiating. It's the fight that we want. Obviously, Callie Sowland, you know, works with Chris Eubank Jr. It's a fight they want. I think Chris Eubank Jr. wants the fight. It's a massive fight. But we'll have to see if he accepts it. We're pretty good on our side. We're pretty much there. It's over to Wasserman and Chris Eubank Jr. If they choose to take that fight, tremendous, huge fight for British boxing. If not, you know, we've already got contingencies in place because Conor Benn goes October the 8th. That's his date at the O2. So next week is the absolute cut-off for that to decide what we're going to do.
Final one from me, Joyce versus Joseph Parker, announced today for BT Sport pay-per-view. Obviously, Joseph Parker, somebody you've worked very close with for a long time. What do you make of that fight? Good
fight. I mean, I'm quite surprised it was pay-per-view, but I understand because how do you make the fight without it being pay-per-view, with how much you have to pay these fighters? Joe signed with Sky and then went back. It's all a bit strange, but it's a good fight and it's a good test for Joe Joyce.
Interested in working with a winner of that fight in the future?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, look, you know, we're well invested in the heavyweight division. And we'll see what happens.
Eddie Hearn, always a pleasure. Thanks for speaking to ID Boxing.